All right, Jesse on fire, and I'm back with another one from my Labor Day Kingdom. I don't know what you call this. Check this out, though. Told you guys I would show you. Look at this place. There's Gabrielle. I don't know if you can see her. Pretty legit, though, huh? Pretty legit. Anyway, so I want to do a quick video here and talk about Khabib because, I'm going to talk about a couple things, right? I got a couple topics, but I've been holding off on doing another video on this channel because the Conor McGregor video that I did about him, why he's not taking fights, exposed, a clickbaity title for sure, but at the same time, 100% agree with what I stated in there, or like I stand by it. I think I'm 100% right about why he's not fighting, but yeah, it's doing really well, and I looked and realized that every time I post a new video, it'll stop the current video from getting suggested, so I'm leaving it up. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna post this one though, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, so I just read an article about Khabib. Oh, before I even do that, first of all, if you like the content, subscribe, ring the bell. But I have to apologize to somebody because, man, I am embarrassed. So one of my main people who I talk to all the time in the comments, Paul King, he wrote me a comment. And I was out by the pool, just kind of going through comments. I couldn't, the glare, I just didn't see who it was, okay? I didn't see who wrote this. He wrote me a comment that, talking shit like a buddy would talk to each other, because he's one of my buddies in the comments. And I didn't see who it was, and I just bit his head off like the biggest fucking prick ever. And I am going to just publicly apologize because I did not see who it was. So the point being is that was not actually directed at Paul King, and Paul King, I apologize again. You haven't responded to my comment, so I'll put the shit in the video because I'm embarrassed. I will never talk shit to my followers like that, and I feel like shit about it. So let's talk about Khabib. So Khabib, I read, had a real offer to fight Floyd Mayweather this year, or maybe it might have even been 2019. I don't know, but he had the offer to fight Floyd Mayweather was there. Now the reason why I was looking at this is because Ali Abdelaziz just came out and said that it wouldn't even be fair for Mayweather to fight Khabib, and that it just he's like Floyd's a fragile guy, man. He's fragile. He can't get him to. You can't let him fight Khabib in mixed martial arts. He's going to get hurt, which is 100% accurate. Number one, but I was just like, why are they even talking about this? Is this on the table? And it wasn't, as far as I can tell. And the only thing I can think of is maybe Ali Abdelaziz is trying to bait Mayweather into fighting Khabib. I mean, what's the downside? So you put something out there like, if you fight Khabib in mixed martial arts, you'll get smashed, right? So the upside is maybe Mayweather bites on that like a child, because Mayweather's obviously looking for a fight. Very clearly, Floyd wants a fight. I mean, his last fight was against Conor. It's been a long time. Floyd spent there. I genuinely believe that there's not an amount of money that Floyd could not spend, right? And that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a lot of assets. I'm not saying his net worth is super small, but in terms of cash flow, I don't believe there is an amount of money that he could make that he won't figure out a way to spend. And so, it's been 3 years since he fought Conor. So, because that was August 2017. So yeah, it's been 3 years. So my guess is he needs some money, right? Now, obviously he could sell off 3 or 4 of his houses and then be set for life. It's not like, just living like a normal person. He could probably just sell this house, and then buy one big house and then put the rest with a money manager who would let him spend $100,000 a month and he would never run out of money. So, I mean, he could do that, but, he's used to a specific kind of lifestyle, which involves, paying for a lot of people's stuff. So I would imagine he needs a fight. Anyway, so, if you're inside the fight game, you know that he's looking for a fight. So he throws that out there, trying to bait Mayweather into fighting Khabib, which, why not? What's the downside? There isn't one. Not looking into that, led me to this article about when apparently in Saudi Arabia, some of these really wealthy guys who, by the way, let me go do this first. Some of these really wealthy Middle Eastern guys had offered Khabib $100 million to fight Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match over there. And Khabib refused to do it. And when they interviewed Khabib about why, he said that they would have been forced to break their contract with the UFC. And he said, my agreement with the UFC is more important than money, right? He said, I can't remember his exact verbiage, but what he said was, I made an agreement and keeping my word is more important than the money. And I was like, again, he is an impossible guy not to like when you really like start listening to the things he says and actually listen to what he's saying, you know, what's important to him, all that stuff. I love that guy, man. And you guys know Conor is my favorite fighter. Like there will never be a scenario where I'll be able to root against Conor. I will just tell you that right now. Like when Conor and Khabib fight again, I'll be rooting for Conor. I can't help it, man. I can't help it. But Khabib is such a stud, man. He is such a stud. Anybody who says that they don't like Khabib, there's something wrong with you. As a matter of fact, the only way that you would not like Khabib is if you're a bad person. Like you're a person who has no ethics, you have no code, and there's nothing that you, as a man, you know, would consider important that you hold yourself to. Because anybody who is that will have nothing but respect for how Khabib carries himself and lives. And also, you know, if I'm gonna give myself any credibility here or kind of give myself a hand job on this, do you hear what's happening here? I can be Conor's number one, you know, Conor can be my number one favorite fighter, and I also can do multiple videos talking about how much I respect Khabib, because you don't have to pick a side. You can respect both sides and you can listen and give credit where credit's due. I think Americans really should start thinking like that as well, okay? Just because you like one thing doesn't mean you have to hate the other thing. Anyway, but yeah, I thought that was worth noting that the reason he wouldn't fight Mayweather is because it was against his ethics to even contemplate breaking an agreement that he had made. I love that, man. Also, let's talk about what would happen if they fought in the UFC, okay? Pretty simple. Khabib would take Mayweather down. He would smash him into pieces. Now, let me just say this, though. If Mayweather would have taken MMA when he was 35, I don't think he would have ever had any chance of beating Khabib, but he could have been competitive. I mean, he probably would have been fighting at 135 pounds. But if you think a guy who's capable of that level of athleticism and already has a base of being like one of the best boxers of all time couldn't learn tremendous takedown defense if he dedicated his entire life to it, you're crazy. Okay? Like, you're crazy. He would have gotten really good. He would have gotten great at jiu-jitsu. He would have got great at wrestling if that's what he focused all of his energy on. You know? Or if he started when he was 30, you know, he would have gotten excellent. Not Khabib level, but he could have certainly been a competitor in mixed martial arts. It's just now, you know, he's in his 40s, man. Like, he'll get crushed. Anyway, but now let me go back to the thing I was talking about with the wealthy people in the Middle East. So here's the thing about those people who offered Khabib the $100 million and probably would have offered Mayweather 200 or 300 or whatever. Those guys are totally likely to be in the top 3 to 4, you know, wealthiest people, wealthiest families in the world, because you've got Jeff Bezos, you know, whatever, hundreds of billions of dollars. Then there are these groups, and I actually do not think he's the wealthiest person in the world, okay? Because the people who really are the wealthiest people in the world, the central bankers who control the currency, who actually create the currency that we then use, you know, to measure people's net worth, you think those people want anywhere near a Forbes, you know, richest people list? They don't. They don't want anything anywhere near that. And neither do the Saudi royal family, right? They don't want anybody to know what their money is. Why would they want anyone to know that? These are guys who are worth, you know, $2 trillion probably. Why would they want anyone to know that? Right? Like, what upside is there for a royal family in the Middle East to have the world knowing what their finances are? I mean, there's no upside in that. The only reason that people know about the people who are on those lists is because their holdings are public, because they're in publicly traded companies. So think about what Conor McGregor said about, you know, his Forbes list. If they would have taken into account the earnings from Proper 12, then I would have been at the top of the list. Okay, so what they're saying is these earnings lists and the wealth list is what's publicly known, right? Conor doesn't publicly announce what the earnings for Proper 12 is because it's not a public company, it's a private company. So there's no public company tied to the royal family's, you know, oil take. So there's no way for us to know. But I think it's pretty fair to say that they probably have quite a bit of money, given that the entire world runs on the the commodity that they have a vice grip on and sell globally, right? So anyway, that's what I got. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Paul King, I apologize again. Peace.